A Pennsylvania judge has struck down their state's voter ID law. Now, this had been put into place back in March of 2012, signed by a Republican at that time. Now, people have been opposing it ever since then, and that judge, Bernard McGinley, said that it imposes unreasonable burdens on the right to vote. That seems pretty clear. Not everybody has access to that identification, especially if they're trying to vote and it's not too long before the election, that sort of thing. Now, the ACLU of Pennsylvania put out a statement saying, once the Commonwealth admitted they couldn't identify any of the frauds supposedly prevented by the voter ID law, the act was plainly revealed to be nothing more than a voter suppression tool. Now, we don't have, especially in the past year, we don't have a lot of victories in this area.
One more time, put that quote up again, because that's key. It's not a court. Once the Commonwealth admitted, like the state that passed it, once Pennsylvania admitted there's no voter fraud, then there's nothing there. And if there's no voter fraud in Pennsylvania, there's no voter fraud anywhere else.
Well, potentially Ohio, and the Secretary of State Republican did do a massive $150,000 investigation into voter fraud in Ohio, was able to convict 5 people of voter fraud. And in many of those cases, it seemed kind of understandable that they did what they did. But anyway, so this is something that we're going to be focusing on in advance of the next election. The Republicans, as they become a smaller and smaller, I guess part of the demographic pie in America, are discovering that the only way that they're going to hold on to power is to stop the elderly, minorities, the poor, students, any group they can from voting. And they've had a lot of success, particularly in North Carolina, in Texas as well. They had this in Pennsylvania, and so it's a good move by the judge to strike that down.
A couple of things the judge said. The law poses a substantial threat to hundreds of thousands of qualified voters. And voting laws are designed to assure fair and free election. Voter ID law does not further this goal. That's great. It's just great to see a judge, a grown-up, expressing those thoughts. And we need that law. We need a judge like that to overturn the law in North Carolina.